Hey everyone, MTG Uli here, and we're just going to be doing file breakdowns. Now, we're just going to do the SAT. I've already broke it down, so I'm just going to open it up, explain what all the bytes mean, and then I'll explain how I worked it out. It's really simple file format, not hard to break down at all. It's nice and small, and it'll just be good for trying to show you how you're meant to do it and understand the bytes. Right, I'm just going to open it up. We're going to use Tree Explorer. I personally do have my own tools, which I do use normally, but they're too complex and I don't really want to release them. So for now, we're just going to use Tree Explorer. Alright, we're going to expand out the entire SAT format. It's that small. The first node, 0003. Basically, that means how many pieces of data is in here, and if I call it's hex. So basically, if it was 0020, that's actually hex, and it won't be 20 pieces of information. It will be actually 32. But here we got 3 pieces of information. This node can be info or data. It all varies. Info normally relates to other nodes, where data will actually be inside this node. So since it's info, we know that it's going to relate to these 3 other nodes, and it's actually first 4 bytes. That's how many pieces of data is in MSGN. The next 4 bytes is how many pieces of information is in the SKTI node, and the last one we'll find out later is actually a boolean, which says if LATX exists or not. Now if we go in MSGN, there we go, we can see that it's just one string relating to one model, and then it's got a null separator, and nulls are always used to separate out strings, and they'll be used quite a lot in these file formats. If we go into SKTI, now this one's you'll see a bit later. There's a bit more to it. It applies a skeleton, and then it's got a null separator, and then sometimes it has another string, and then it has another null separator. Now, since the skeleton applies to the entire body, there's no need for the second piece of info, which goes into right here just before the last null. It basically applies the skeleton to a certain piece of the model, and we'll see later, like the next file I open, that it's going to have a skeleton just like put onto the head. And if we go to the LATX, now first 2 bytes, this is going to say how many pieces of information is going to be in here. And now again, it's applying the skeleton, and then it's going to apply a LAT file to the skeleton. And the LAT is basically just all the animations. It's just a list of animations, and basically it's like all these animations can apply to the skeleton, and it's just basically relating that to that. So basically, when you if you don't have any of this, basically when you get in game, the model's just got no animations, just standing there as it looks in Maya or 3D Studio. It'll just look like that. So that's why you got to apply this. So now if I go open up Aquilish species, open it, you'll see a lot has changed. Now there's going to be 3 in MSGN, there's going to be 2 in SKTI, and boolean LATX is there, so right, good. MSGN, we can see there's 3, and it's all separated out by nulls. 1, 2, 3. If we go to the SKTI, now there's 2 in here. As you can see, it's a skeleton to all the body, and then it's a skeleton just applied to the head. I'll explain like the head and that, it's just based on abstract slots, and even in the MGN file, you can like you can see what different pieces there are to the model. There's like spine. You can go straight down to toes, head, and you can even separate head into like things such as upper lobe and that. But I think it's just the head is like just literally the face. It's not anywhere else, just the face. I can't recall off the top of my head exactly, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And if we go to LATX, first byte is 2, so it's going to be 2, and it's just the skeleton, and then the animations which go to that skeleton, and then it's the face skeleton, and then it's the animations for the face, which is of course emotes of the face, which I'm pretty sure, well, I hope a lot of you are familiar with. And finally, we're going to prove that that last value in the info file is a boolean of true or false by going into the armor appearances. Now, if you see here, it's set to false and there's no LATX. 1 1. So look at that, one piece. Now, the reason why this doesn't have an LATX is because there's no animations getting applied to this piece of armor. It's a piece of armor, it doesn't need any animations, so there's no need to bind animations to it. That's why it's basically not there, but it does need a skeleton, and it's due to basically where it wants to place it on the model, so it needs to know where on the skeleton to like set the appearance to. That's just the overview of the SAT format and how to understand what bytes, like what each byte represent, like does it relate to this, and how you make a check. Now, if you're doing file breakdowns, you can't just base it on one of those files. You've got to open up several of the files and check to make sure what you're saying is correct. It's like, okay, SAT format is really simple, but I did look through 5 or 6 different SAT files until I finally decided, yep, this is all correct. Because you don't want to go, right, this is this, and then later realize it's all wrong. It'll just cause hassle. Anyway, just basic overview, that's how you meant to break down files, and that's the SAT file format.